Hi, well, welcome to the Meet the Author session for the Business Bookcase. This is Jo Wright. Welcome, Jo, and thank you for your time. Jo is the author of our September book of the month. Doesn't time fly? Gosh, No More Managers, which you will have seen the cover for on the site. So, Jo, welcome. I've got a ton of questions.
Thank
We don't
you.
have much time. But the first one is, you've obviously had a career in terms of coaching. So I would like to
Yeah.
ask you how you came to the coaching culture, why you think it's important, and what prompted you to write this book.
Okay, let's go with that. I'm conscious of time. So a 30-year career, we've got to cram into the next sort of 5, 6, 7 minutes. So coaching culture arrived through myself and my business partner talking about putting the world to rights about what made a difference in organizations. So my business partner said to me, what are people looking for these days? And I said sustainable behavior change, and the only way to do that is through coaching. I said too many organizations are focusing on skills and knowledge when actually we need to get under the skin of mindset that are driving behaviors, and coaching does that.
Mm.
And I felt at the time I was coming to the end, or I'd finished my coaching qualification, which had been truly, truly life-changing. So it was like, how do we get coaching out to the masses? Because one thing that we both felt at the time was it's so unfair that it is just for execs and leadership teams. How do we get coaching to everybody? It shouldn't be seen as a luxury item. So from there, we started researching on coaching culture, and we created a magazine called Coaching Culture Magazine. And it kind of snowballed, to be honest, literally snowballed. And we then created a community. We created different digital solutions to get coaching out to the masses. So it became again snowballed over, it's been 7 years now, over 7 years. To really try and encourage organizations to build a coaching culture, because that means that coaching conversations are not just reserved for a few people in the organization. And actually, it puts more of the onus on everybody, leaders and managers and their teams, to have better quality conversations. And where did the book come from? So we created a framework, how to build a coaching culture, 7-step framework. And what we recognized, we still do give people access to that for free. So download it for free, the framework, and go and create your own strategy, put it in place. And a lot of organizations did, and they started using it. And it was like, wow, this is actually valuable content. How can we elaborate on this? Because it was literally just a small document that we were giving away for free. And then the book came around. So actually the book is full of stories from my career, through my 30-year career, the good, the bad, and the ugly, really. And it's the 7 steps to a coaching culture. Obviously, the book's got a cheeky title, and that's deliberate. That is deliberate to get it jumping off the virtual bookshelf. But fundamentally, it's a practical, engaging business book. So it's not a boring business book. It's steeped in stories and practical tips, and techniques from not only my coaching qualification, but throughout my career as a leader and manager, but also having been a leader on a change program where I saw when behaviors did change and when they didn't change. So wrapped it all up into the book. And so far it's doing very well. I mean, I've not quite sold them, the 1 million copies that I anticipated, but I think I was a bit too ambitious. But hey, there's still time. There's still time.
There is still time. You've got to start somewhere. Now, I have found it an engaging read, and
Thank
the
you.
Business Bookcase does like to bring slightly different books to the club. So,
Yes,
and this one fitted the bill really well. So thank you for that. That's
thank
great.
you.
So I wonder if you could just give us a little bit about the actual 7 steps, the form, the framework. How do you introduce a coaching culture? Because I love the idea that it's kind of democratic. It's for everyone. It's not just for the guys at the top.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's it. Democratizing coaching conversations. Fundamentally, the 7 steps, and somebody said this to me recently. Actually, Joe, this is how you go through any level of change in an organization. I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
reinventing the wheel here. This is a cultural change, but it's
Mm.
change. It's changing behaviors. So the 7 steps are, and I'll whistle through them because I know we'll go into them in more detail, maybe on another conversation. Number 1, visualize. Number 2, strategize. Number 3, engage. So that's win hearts and minds. Number 4, grow capability. Number 5, thrive. So that's all about feedback in the organization. Number 6, so grow, thrive, perform. So that's about how do you get people really, you're now building the culture, how you're really getting people to perform using technology, using systems to systemize behaviors and not just trust people to have conversations. And then the last step 7, is sustain. So how do you embed the coaching culture? So it's let's visualize where we're going. Let's put a strategy in place. Let's win hearts and minds. So we're not just throwing it at people. Actually, they're bought into the direction of travel. And let's grow capability. Let's build on coaching capability and feedback. And then we start putting our systems and processes in place to really start embedding a coaching culture. So it sounds quite linear. And as you go through the book, I explain it's not a linear process. You can start at step 4 and go back to step 1. So actually it sounds linear, but it's not. But I really do think the steps have proven really practical to help organizations go, well, we're here at step 4, so let's do that a bit more. And then let's go back to step 1 and 2 to start getting a really bigger strategy in place. So there's different ways to use the
That's a
7
really
steps.
good point, actually, about the non-linear nature of it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
also, you use a word in the book, initiativitis or something,
I knew you were
that kind
going
of
to say that word.
initiative fatigue, basically. Oh, haven't we been here before and tried this? And so it's nice to know that there's a kind of practical approach that people must
Absolutely.
see
There's
a
lots of
difference.
words. Yeah, and there's words in that book that I do make up. I love to make up a good word to make it entertaining. And I think
Yeah.
initiative-itis is what I felt in organizations. I felt, it's initiative after initiative after initiative, shiny new objects. Let's do this and do this really well. Let's focus on this. And the magic will happen. And other initiatives will be able to fall into place if you follow this framework and build a culture on the back of it. So yeah, there's a lot of positive intent in the book.
Yes, yeah. And it's not it's not a difficult to understand set of steps.
I think it's simple, actually. I think I've kept the book really simple. I think it's a simple read. I think it's practical and simple and engaging. And I think if somebody's expecting, a really dry, boring business book full of loads of different complicated models and language, it's not that. And I think the majority of people enjoy a more accessible read and practical. And I've had some fabulous feedback, Ruth, where somebody said to me once, do you know what? I've done leadership development. She was the head of people and culture. Leadership development. I've done management development and I know stuff about coaching. For the first time ever, this has connected the dots for me. And that for me was, yes, that's made the difference. Yes,
yeah.
it was that. I loved it. I've never forgotten that feedback.
Yeah, no, that's great. And actually, feedback in general, I like the emphasis on feedback generally because it is about open and honest conversations and being able to deliver feedback in a safe way, not not without people feeling that that they can't get anything right.
Absolutely. And I'd love the book to get out to the world because I think if every organization actually adopted the principles in the book, what a difference it would make to the world of work. And that's why I have my ambition, not on the number of sales targets, but actually on the difference the book could make if organizations adopted it more of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great idea, and I look forward to part 2 where we'll dive into a bit more detail about the framework and some of your case studies.
Thank you.
We're kind of out of time here, so thank you again for your time, Jo, and I hope people have enjoyed listening to this. And we'll have a part 2 fairly soon.
Thanks, Ruth.
Thank you.